2025 VW ID Buzz Pro S Plus, 2026 Tesla Model Y Juniper. This starts at $60,000. This starts at $60,000. And today we are going to review and compare both of them. Now, these both have all-wheel drive. This has a lower range on it, 238 miles of range. And up front here, this is only for service, so this doesn't open up for better storage. Here's what I've always said about electric vehicles and electric vehicles moving forward is the take rate isn't great on them. Tesla seems to be doing fine. Rivian is on their way. Lucid, I don't know. And then the legacy OEMs are kind of struggling to get them out there. But the ID Buzz, I like it because it offers something really different. It offers a retro build. It's just something that's very cool to me. We're gonna go through all the features of this and show you the differences between this two to help you in your buying process. Now, on the Model Y, what they've done that's really good is they have a frunk. And what Tesla does really well is the storage on their vehicles. So all of the areas in this vehicle that you can store things is just really well thought out. So you have this huge storage area up here. And what's new to the new Tesla Model Y is there is a drain plug. So now you have a drain plug down here where you could fill this with ice and let it drain out of the bottom of the vehicle. So I think that is really cool. So that's up front is an advantage that the Model Y has, that this isn't a storage area. But this is such a massive vehicle that it really doesn't matter. Now, both of these have heated and cooled seats, so that's new to the Model Y now. But this also has massaging seats, which I think is great. But just look at I mean, this is bigger than my first apartment. It's just nice in here. So this seat's 6, that seat's 5. But when you fold these seats down, you have an incredible amount of space back here. Look at this. Look at this luxury, this camel leather. And then you have this little VW ID Buzz van etched into the side back here. That's a cool feature. Now, $60,000 is a lot of money. This is a massive vehicle. It's a really cool EV, but $60,000 is a lot. And there's just some plasticky parts back here that aren't great. Now, with that said, the seats are excellent. So the seats are very comfortable. You have some storage back here on the seats, some storage right here on the seats. These are perforated leather, Harman Kardon sound system, and you have heated seats in the rear as well. You also have this. I don't know what that's for, but you just tug on it. Another interesting thing is the center console. Oh, look at that. This pulls out. That's a little trick. And then you can totally detach the center console here, just like that, and move it out. So that way, if your parents start yelling at you in the car, you can go fight them as they're driving down the road, and I think that's great. That is just a brief look at that. You can also access both rear doors here from front, so you can hit that button and open or close the doors. We have a nice breeze coming through here in this massive open space. Now, they have electrochromatic glass in some of these. This one does not have it, but it's really cool. You hit the button and it goes from opaque to clear. So I think that that is really cool. You have an air vent for the third row from above, which is really nice. You have an air vent in the second row, and the second row also has control over fan speed and temperature. So VW is always, anytime I get in a VW, it's like, oh man, this is a really nice car. They're plain, but they're luxurious. And then you can see where they kind of cut back and separate themselves from something like Audi. So let's take a look at the interior of the new Tesla and see what upgrades that they have made. Now, the interior of the Teslas are generally very plain looking on the interior, but it's actually not much different than the ID.4. They're much more similar than you would think, especially when you bring in the cost. Now, everything is on here in your center display. So when you go here, then you have all of these controls, but it's really nicely organized for you. You have dynamics, that's how the car is going to accelerate and decelerate. You have your traction control modes, all of that. You have your autopilot settings. So you have all of this stuff laid out here, which is really well organized. It does have heated and cooled seats now, which is new. The cooled seats is new. The sound system is excellent, and it has 360 acoustic glass, as well as a fully revised suspension. So the old Model Ys were rough, and I recently just drove back-to-back a 25 Model Y and this 26 Model Y to compare them, and it's surprising how much of a difference that you feel. So what I like about this is this being an electric vehicle, if you go on a road trip, you're going to be like, okay, where am I going to have to charge? So if I say directions to San Diego, so now it's already set up for my first charger. So I'm gonna hit a supercharger at 12:36 p.m. and I'm going to arrive there with 15%. So it already has it perfectly planned for me with charging stops. It knows how many people are at the charger. There's currently 11 stalls available. And then it's gonna hit another one here. I'm gonna be there for 9 minutes, 13 minutes, and 16 minutes, and I will arrive with 10%. But if I don't want to arrive with 10%, I can go set arrival energy, and I can adjust that, and I can hit save. And that will adjust the trip so I get there with a comfortable amount of range. This is what I'm talking about when I say their EVs are fully thought out. I don't care if you buy a Tesla or a Mercedes or a Honda, I truly don't care. But the technology, if you want to have one vehicle to be able to drive somewhere and be able to get there safely and know how you're going to get there with the chargers, this is it. And that's one of the issues with the VW ID4. It's just not as well integrated, but they will have access to the supercharger network, and hopefully it delivers on its range. The battery size in this, I think usable, is right around 79 kilowatt hour battery pack, and that one is like 91, but it's not aerodynamically as efficient as this, which is why it gets less range. So the materials that they're using in the Model Y now are excellent. It's not a huge departure when you sit in them side by side. This is 0.4 inches wider. The screen's a little bit brighter. But overall, it's generally the same. They've kept the turn signal stock here, and it's mainly the same. They just kind of took every piece of the vehicle and made it better because it was already a really solid vehicle. So let's take a look at the trunk. So this is very rare. It's raining in Arizona right now. We're about to get wiped out with a storm. But, so we gotta go quick. Rear has a huge sub-trunk back here. Look at this space. Massive trunk that you're able to store stuff down below and keep it out of sight. And then, like, I use this for groceries a lot down here, because that way they don't slide around, and then you have all of this space on top. The seats now automatically fold down all the way, and then they automatically fold back up. So that is a really nice feature as well. So now on to the ID Buzz. We're buzzing. ID Buzz. This is the largest logo I've ever seen on a vehicle. 4Motion, all-wheel drive. We have these two shelves here. So when you steal something from Claire's, you can hide it down in there. This is actually a really nice shelf. Could reload your shotgun if you're gonna go hunting in this thing. You can see the trade-off here. Yes, this seats more people, has a lot more space in it, no doubt. But then you just have this limited amount of space back here. And again, for most people, it's going to be okay. It's really well done though. Look at this. Bring the camera right here. Look at that. Les Joffers. Ooh.
Made by IKEA.
This is Les Joffers. So, yeah, I don't know what the weight limit is. Probably, yeah, I don't want to test that. But you have a lot of room here that you can fold these seats down, comfortably seat 4 people. So there are trade-offs to both of them. It's actually shocking you get this much vehicle for $60,000 starting out. And I think dealerships are having trouble selling them right now. So you can probably get them under MSRP. I don't know what kind of lease deals they have. We're just getting dumped on right now. So that's kind of the difference between the two. I also just noticed there's USB-C chargers on both sides back here and cup holders. So that is nice as well. And then there's ventilation in the back. All right, so driving the ID Buzz. This screen up front here is actually, I think it looks really nice. It's really clean. One terrible thing is the volume is sliding your finger back and forth, and that is just terrible. That needs to just be a knob. Everyone agrees with that. This looks like some Chinese add-on I put into the car. It just looks really cheap and looks like it doesn't belong there. So that's interesting. But overall, then it has, let's see, let's turn it on the driver massaging seats, start it up. So massaging seats in cars, I've always felt it's just kind of a gimmick. It's nice, but it's not like going to the massage parlor and getting really rubbed down, if you know what I mean. So anyways, this screen here kind of let down, but overall I mean, you have this huge, it's the largest, I don't know what window, this is the A2 pillar. This is A1, A2, B and C and D pillar. It's just, I've never seen this much space up in the front of a car. It's a very weird car to be in. Steering wheel is really nice leather here. Good visibility out of the back. The Chevy Econoline is definitely still the winner for this type size of a car. Yeah, we're gonna take it for a drive here and see how it is. All right, driving the ID4. I gotta be honest with you guys, I really like this thing for a lot of reasons. I'm gonna get a little massage while we're chatting here. We're gonna go with it. What are our options? We'll do a stretching massage. I don't stretch enough. So that's what we're gonna do. Now to put this thing into gear, you gotta twist this. So it's a twisting thing. And then once you're in drive, you have a normal drive. Oops, sorry, ma'am. Sorry. I've been drinking all morning. Backup cam could be better, but it's not bad. Yeah, backup cam not great. Massaging seats. The seats in this are very comfortable. Perforated leather. It's a rich camel look. And someone just brought up a good point to me. I just showed in the car and they said, I like it, but I like the two-tone better. I go, you know what? You're right. The two-tone is actually better. They also said that in high school, their friend had one of these and died in a car accident because the crash stuff wasn't great. And I was like, I haven't wrecked one, but I'm assuming it's better than it was in the 70s. Now, here's what I love. I'm going to demonstrate one of the things that makes me love this, okay? Oh! It busted that camera loose. Look at this guy. Hey. Relax, dog. Got a mask hanging off of his ear. What the hell's going on in downtown Phoenix? So anyways, this thing is a quick and massive van. Thank you. Appreciate it. She loves it. She loves it, folks. See how her hair is two-toned? How you doing? Thank you. It's great. Yeah, no, it's very quick and there's a ton of space in it. So 238 miles is the range. Yeah. Yeah. They have some good deals on them right now because they can't sell them. So might be a good time. See you guys. Yeah, thank you. Look at me. Look at me. I'm out on these streets doing more than any VW sales associate has ever done ever. What I was trying to say is, that lady's hair was cool, by the way. What I'm trying to say is, this is a perfect example of an electric vehicle that brings benefits over what the gas variant would do. It's quick. It does 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. This thing is massive. And you get on the line and you just poof, right off the line, it rips. So that's a nice feature of it. The other thing is it's unique. It's the van. Everyone's looking at it. Everyone's like excited. You just saw people in the comments be like, yeah, those are paid actors. But you just saw there is actually some excitement around seeing this thing out and about. So the suspension, excellent. The suspension in this thing is excellent. And there's a ton of space. I got massaging seats. There's no Tesla currently that offers massaging seats, but this does. Now, with that said, massaging seats they're nice, but it's not like going and getting a massage, right? So it's, kind of a gimmick, but also it's kind of nice. The infotainment screen is excellent in terms of its clarity. The actual use of it is like, it's not great. But we click on Apple CarPlay. Whoa, gotta get on the brakes. Check out that Taycan in Neptune blue, huh? Paint match wheels. He wishes he was driving this. So it does have Apple CarPlay. I'm currently wired, but it does have wireless Apple CarPlay. So there's our Apple CarPlay look. And this is a high resolution display. It's really nice. What's kind of goofy is this display right here in front of me. It looks like one of those Chinese add-ons that you'd put in like a Tesla Model Y, which those are fine. I don't know. I feel like that could have been better integrated, but people like having a screen in front of them. VW delivered on that, and it has a heads-up display in front of me, so I can keep my eyes on the road and see how fast I'm going, or if cruise control is engaged. AC seems to blow on you nicely. You have controls in the second row for the AC. There's captain's chairs in the second row, so this is a 6-seater. There's only 2 seats in the back, 2 seats in the middle, 2 seats in the front. And then you have that little shelf in the back, perfect for diaper changes. For you moms and dads out there, your boy's through it. Your boy's changed a few hundred diapers in his day, and he's good at it. So you have a nice little changing table back there. Now, the one downside of the vehicle, I would say, is the range of it, and the charging capabilities aren't great. But if you're charging this goes down to a single lane. I don't want to take someone out in my VW. But if you're just driving this around town, you're going on your road, if you're driving this within a 100-mile range of you, 150-mile range, you're going to be okay. 238-mile range. It's just not a ton of range, and then they don't charge that quick. So that's a downside. But for around town, what I love is the ride quality is excellent, and then it's quick. Because normally when you're in a big SUV like this, it's a pig. You gotta really get into that gas pedal, and it has sport mode. So when you put it into sport mode, let's do that right now. Drive mode, and it has an adaptive suspension. So when I put it into sport mode and I hit this little I, okay, it won't let me, for safety, come on. I'm a professional. For safety reasons, it won't read it out, but it has an adaptive suspension. It makes the throttle more aggressive. And then it tightens up the steering as well. So it actually changes the car in ways that, a lot of companies won't. I didn't know that it had an adaptive suspension and changes the steering weight and all that stuff. So that's really cool. The sport mode, it actually rips. I mean, that's what I hate about really big vehicles, is the fact that they are slow pigs. But this is nimble, so that's nice. It does not have all-wheel steering. That would be another great feature, so that would be nice. But again, it doesn't feel that big. And parking, it's very easy because you have these nice reference points and clarity up front. And it's funny to drive because you're in this flat-faced vehicle that it's unlike anything I've ever driven for any period of time. So it's very spacious. This center console, I showed you this earlier. The center console just removes. That's a funny feature as well, because you can just literally slide over to the passenger seat or walk into the back of the vehicle. So there's a lot of good to say about this thing. There's also some bad. So the rear window, for example, it has that cool opening. It's kind of finicky. And I've tested this on 2 separate ID buzzes, otherwise I wouldn't mention it because, it could be a one-off issue and I don't want to mention that in the video like it affects every car. But I've seen 2 of these. They have the exact same issue. Basically, when you go to close the rear window, it doesn't want to close. It'll go until you hold it like halfway down, and then it'll finally seal. And then like if you get in it, it's not started. You have to hit the start button. But then if you sit up, it's nice McLaren. And then if you sit up too much, it'll turn off. So there's like some weird things you will have to figure out as an owner. But because you own the vehicle, you will get used to it. It's just could have been well thought out. I think in an EV, the best way to do it is what Tesla and Rivian does. And as when you sit down in the car and put your foot on the brake, it's on and ready to go, as opposed to hitting a start button. It just doesn't really make sense. Those are minor. What's more alarming is the fact that like windows and things don't close, or if the car is not turned on, the auxiliary's not on, and you can't open a window. There were just some weird things that I think should be worked out, but it's a new vehicle. You'll have a new vehicle warranty, and the dealership should hopefully help you out if you have an issue. Other than that, this thing's fun. I like the space, and like I said, it's unique looking. It serves a purpose and it's quick. And that's what I think an EV should do. It should provide benefits over a gas vehicle. Like if Honda produced a Honda Civic EV and it got 300 miles of range and whatever, well, the hybrid Honda Civic gets 500 or 600 miles of range and does all these other things. So there's no reason for them to make that because it's not a better car and it will cost more. This cost starts at $60,000, but it offers a unique driving experience that you can't get anywhere else. And that's why the ID Buzz for me is a go. So I'm a big fan. But now that we've driven the ID Buzz, let's go drive the new Tesla Model Y, because that's $60,000 right now. Now the cheaper variants are going to come out. But what does the Tesla Model Y do better? I'm curious to see how that feels after driving this. Another thing that that is absolutely atrocious in this is the steering wheel controls are terrible. They're all haptic feedback, and you click them and they vibrate and you don't know what you click. There's no like, I'd rather just have the simple buttons. That's one thing on a car. I don't know why manufacturers feel the need to try to be fancy here when buttons work. People like the feedback, and that's just how it should be. I do not like the controls up here, and like I said earlier, I don't like that there's the volume down here is just make it a knob. Even if the knob's right here, if the knob's down here, if the knob's up here, if the knob's on your nipple, I don't care. Just don't make it this thing where you're just going no, and you can't ever find the spot, which we've all struggled with. So back driving the brand new Model Y, and what becomes apparent quickly is the technology that is in this thing that is usable on a daily basis and just better. So if I put my turn signal on here, you'll see this really high resolution camera shows what's in my blind spot. That is really useful. The other thing is if I click this button right here, I'm on Tesla's autopilot system here. So that is going to be lane keep assist and dynamic cruise control. And then I can adjust it by just using this scroll wheel up or down. So it's really convenient how this just starts up. You just tap a button and it's good to go. You tap a button and it turns off, as opposed to in the ID Buzz, you're hitting this button and then you have to hit set. And then the controls just do not feel great on that. And there's a lot baked into here that is very easy to use. So if you just click the car right here, and then you have all of these different controls. Now maybe you're driving like I am right now and you're like, I need to make an adjustment to the mirrors, or I need to make an adjustment to the steering wheel. I just go like this, adjust steering wheel. And it brings up that screen, and now with this scroll wheel, I can adjust the steering wheel. So all of that is extremely well done, and there's really no other manufacturer that has their software integrated into the vehicle like Tesla does. And the reason that Tesla's able to do that is because it's all a vertical stack. I don't want this 18-wheeler to take me out. It's all a vertical stack. So they're not bringing something in from Bosch and something in from Sony or whoever, supplies car parts. And that's why they're also able to do their software updates so efficiently, where these other manufacturers have to communicate with multiple manufacturers to make sure everything works together, where Tesla can do that all in-house, and that's where they have a huge software advantage. Rivian's the same way. Lucid, I think, is the same way as well. So that's a big advantage to where cars are moving. The other advantage, and people talk about, EVs get outdated every couple of years. It's kind of true, but also if you have your software integrated like this, you can send these updates to the older vehicles, which Tesla and Rivian do a really nice job of. So that's the big benefit of this. Now, ride quality in comparison to the ID Buzz, ride quality in this thing's good now. It's finally what it needs to be. It's on par with the Mercedes-Benz GLC or the BMW X3. I truly enjoy it. All of the pieces of this car isn't like, oh my God, there's a new engine in it or anything, or new battery tech. That's one of the letdowns to me, is the battery tech hasn't really been updated. I think it's about the same as it was back in 2020 when it launched, but I will test that in a back-to-back charging video. I think this thing is really solid. It has full self-driving technology, which no manufacturer has. It feels quality on the interior, but it's minimalistic, like the ID Buzz. The ID Buzz, though, in a way is cooler because it's unique. It's a minivan. You saw the people in downtown Phoenix pointing and asking about it. That's a perfect example of something you want to be in and enjoy, because they do cost a lot. This starts at $60 and that starts at $60. Now, cheaper variants of the Y are coming, but it's a really cool vehicle, and I have to take my my hat off to it, because it just it's actually fun to drive, and they've done all the right things you need to do to make an EV purchasable to people that generally wouldn't have thought to buy one. Now, the Model Y is still the king in terms of electric vehicles because they sell more of these than anything, and it's really not even remotely close. And you see why. It makes sense. It's fast. It has good range. It has great technology. It has the screen in the back. It has great software. It's just the packaging of it. This is what Americans love. This is what people across the world love, is to have something that is really versatile. And that's what this is. And you can see why they've sold so many of them. And now that package has just gotten better. They've taken every aspect of the car and looked at it and said, how can we make this better? And they've done that with the glass, the materials, the sound, the performance, tiny efficiencies in aerodynamics and the motors. So they've done a really good job. So which one do I prefer then? Here's what you need to know. If you're going to be doing a lot of road trips, maybe your kids are in travel sports or things like that, you need to go with the Tesla, because the Tesla has the reliable charging network. It's very safe. It has good range and is comfortable and spacious. There's storage up front. There's sub-trunk in the back. The trunk itself is very good. So if you're going to be doing the road trips and things like that, and you're going to need to be relying on public charging, you need to go with Tesla. If you're looking for something that's around town and different, you're probably going to want to look at the ID Buzz, and you're going to want to look at what deals the current dealerships have going on, because they're having trouble moving them. And after driving it, while it does have some deficiencies with, you know, the windows being finicky and things like that, I can overlook it because of how unique it is and how fun it is to drive, and it's huge. The around town car is the ID Buzz. Obviously the Tesla's good around town, but if you're doing the road trips and things like that, you want the Model Y. Now, if you want to see the difference between this Model Y, so this is technically a 26 model. If you want to see the differences between this and the 24, 25 models, click this video right here. That will be helpful, breaking down all of those differences to see if it's worth the premium to get the new one versus the old one. Click this right here.